John Turno hadn't been shot through the head, but he was just as dead as the 6 men he had killed. There he was, the wild fellow, sprawled on his back, his big old-fashioned repeating rifle across his chest and clutched in his 2 hands. He was a sight that men who saw him vividly remember today, more than 30 years later. The huge wild man with great matted beard and long hair, dressed in ragged garments made chiefly from gunny sacking, laid fold upon fold and filled with fir needles. On his feet was the only conventional bit of clothing he possessed, a pair of comparatively new caulked boots, later identified as having belonged to the late Colin Mackenzie, one of Turno's victims. In the little hut by the lake, the posse found $6.65 in silver, a small knife, a pair of scissors, and more gunny sacking, of the sort the wild man had used to make his clothing. Not in the hut or anywhere else in the vicinity could the posse find so much as a scrap of food. Reconstructing the brief, deadly battle, it was thought that Turno, who had been accustomed to meeting pairs of men in the woods and killing them, had not at first suspected the presence of a third man. It was a bullet from Quimby's gun which killed the outlaw. Horses were brought in, and Turno and his last 2 victims taken out to Monte Sano, where an undertaker said he had never before seen the like of Turno. All of the big man was bone and muscle. His shoulders, so the mortician reported, were like those of a gorilla. The palms of his hands were like leather. From this report, perhaps, and the added fact that it had never been possible to trail Turno, either in snow or on bare ground, plus the experience of M.L. Swanson, he who saw the strange thing among the treetops, grew up the story, still widely believed, that the wild man often traveled through the trees 200 feet above the ground, like a gigantic ape. Perhaps he did. In any case, he went straight into legend, and there he remains today. Half man, half ape, the wild man of the Olympics, intimate of bear, cougar, owls, and buzzards, an unlettered, witless Thoreau who wanted to be alone and worked hard to that purpose.